This is the TED Talk version of the executive summary for the final report for this class. We're just going to go over the round 8 report and kind of just analyze the data that was in that. So my group was Andrews, and as you can tell, I did not perform anything like that I was hoping to have. Pretty much the only benefits that I saw that I had over the other companies was the asset turnover. I had the lowest asset turnover. Return on equity right here. I had the highest return on equity, the lowest sales, negative profit, which I'm not proud of. And then the emergency loans, we also had to dip into emergency loans along with average did as well. So here's kind of two charts that show the percentage of sales and the market share. Percentage of sales came from other, so we did not really have any control over the market share at all. This pie graph here shows that Digby did control the majority of the market share for all of the companies, followed closely, not too closely, by Baldwin, and then Ferris, Erie, and Chester were pretty close together on that there. Moving down lower, the stocks and bonds and things like that, our closing price was much lower than Baldwin, Chester, Digby, Erie, and Ferris. Our market cap was also significantly lower. This shows a bond summary. Andrews was a triple D rating. Not entirely sure what the triple D rating signifies. So some of the other things that we'll look over here would be where is it at? Page 10. So this here shows the actual market share in units. So Baldwin as a total controlled 39.7% of the traditional, 30.1% of low end, 17.4% of high end, and 22.9% total. Andrews only controlled 0.9% of the total. Chester controlled 15.6% of the market. Digby controlled 24.6%, which was the greatest amount of any of them. They controlled 21.5%. That was Erie. And then Ferris controlled 14.6%. And that was on the actuals. So something that I wanted to discuss that I learned from this is, so I tried to, I was going to follow the broad cost leader analysis, which was right here. So I was going to follow what Chester was following. And I kind of shied away from that, and I decided to go more towards gearing my decision making on the customer importance charts that were within the simulation. They were graded on percentage of importance to the customer for each of the categories, whether it be MTBF, price, age at revision, and then there were two other ones. I cannot think of the name of those, but those were what I was going to gear mine off of, or what I had started to gear them off of, as opposed to the broad cost leader. I think had I chose to follow more closely to the guideline of the broad cost leader, I would have had better luck and been more competitive in the simulation. Just some of the outlines for the broad cost leader. Their goal is to achieve the competitive advantage by keeping R&D cost, production costs, and raw material costs to a minimum, enabling the company to compete on the basis of price. Excuse me. Also, I did not have any overtime or second shift throughout my simulation, and had I followed the broad cost leader guideline, they do prefer second shift / overtime to maximize capacity expansion, and the financing is primarily through long-term bonds, supplementing with stock offerings as needed. When cash position allows, they will establish a dividend policy to begin to retire stock. So I did retire one stock of my company, and I did not introduce any new products. I was trying to get the maximum potential out of the products that I had to begin with. So that is kind of what I geared mine towards, and if I could do things differently, I think that I would, instead of being stubborn and going against what I thought that made sense, as opposed to going against the proven track record of following one of these guidelines, if I were given another opportunity to do this again, I would follow the guidelines and probably follow the broad cost leader. I think that would be a good one to follow. Also, I think the niche cost leader would be another one that I would potentially follow. Which the vision statement for the niche is reliability and for low-tech customers. So reliable products for low technology customers. Erie brand offers value. Our prime stakeholders are bondholders, stockholders, customers, and management, which that is similar to the cost leader, the broad cost leader. The niche cost leader, competitive advantages gained by keeping R&D costs low, production costs low, and raw material costs to a minimum, enabling the company to compete on the basis of price. So that is similar as well to the broad cost leader. There are small differences between the two, but I think that I would either follow one of those two in order to do better on the next simulation if I were to participate in it again. So that is just kind of my TED Talk, going over the analysis from the Round 8 report on the Courier report within CapSim, and then going over the 6 strategies that are available for us to use, and what I would do if I were to do the simulation again. So that's just my little TED Talk. Hope you enjoyed, and I will post this link on the description for the final report, so I will have those two combined.